Mark Hanley, Pete, the Wizard of Oz is not real, mate. Well, I don't know what you mean by that, Mark. Yeah, and there's no Santa Claus either. I do realise that. Right, someone fishing there. No, I don't know who Jay is, and he's not making any animation. Damon, Dutch Frang, what is two simps here? Not understand. Okay. I got to be careful, because when I answer people, I don't want to take the mickey and, put people down or anything, but if there's something I don't understand, just send in another comment and hopefully I can understand it. Joe K, only some friendly advice, but I would tell anybody what you're doing or how you're doing it, not in Thailand. Anyway. Well, exactly. That's why I haven't mentioned it. I've spoken in a roundabout way. I don't want to be Mr. Cloak and Dagger. You've got to kind of explain yourself up to a point, but with actual details, no, you're right. Mark says, I can see this going as Land of Smiles, Thailand. No, absolutely not. I know Simon's in the old days, somebody said to me, oh, you're copying Land of Smiles with the stories. And I really wasn't. And somebody wrote to Simon and said, oh, this guy's copying you. And Simon actually he came on and said, no, the internet's a big place. There's room for everybody. And I didn't discover Simon's site until somebody said to me, oh, there's another guy tells stories. Is he copying you? And I went on and I looked at all his older videos. I said, well, no, he started a long time before me. And his are different because when he tells a story, they kind of go on for quite a long time, don't they? I used to watch them, actually. There was one called Solomon's Tales. It kept me up till 4 a.m. I was like, I've got to see what happens next. And then he'd tell the next episode. And it was like, it still didn't finish. I was like, oh God, what happens next? And in the end, I did get to the end of it, about 12 episodes. But mine are different, aren't they? Because I'll tell 3-4 stories in half an hour. People send them to me, I edit them, rewrite them, take out any swear words, and I just read them out. So they're different to his. And the way he had this little resort, didn't he? And he used to do videos for that. And that's not what I'm going to do. I have got my own strategy. I know where I'm going with the channel. Once I live in Thailand, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and it's nothing like that. Fair play to him, what he does. I'm not knocking him or slating him, but it's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be living in a rural part of Thailand, living on a farm. It's not for me. Right, Boohoo, just joined in. Are you in the UK at the moment? I am, unfortunately. I'm in the UK, made it back in one piece. Yeah, let's change this, see if we can get something a bit more exciting. Yeah, what about this lovely lady here? Right. Right. Steve, is YouTube considered work in Thailand? Well, the easy answer to that, Steve, is if anything you do in Thailand, if somebody pays you for your services, whatever it is, you're working because you're getting paid. And I know a guy, well, I don't know him myself, but Simon told me this story about a guy who got set up by the police, actually set him up. He went down to Phuket and he had to find out, I think it was something like a private detective agency or something. There was a guy, he had a bar girl friend, right? He went back to his own country and he wanted to know, the girl was right now, oh, I don't work in the bar anymore. I'm in my village. And, he didn't trust her. So he got in touch with this detective agency and he says, I want to know, is my girlfriend on the level? She was working in this bar. She says she's not working there anymore. Can you check her out and tell me how much you're going to charge? I want to see if she's still working or if she is a good girl. So this detective guy used this other guy who wasn't on a work permit. He was retired, and they sent him down to Phuket. And he was in this little restaurant, and the guy was there, and he says, so the fee is this much, isn't it? And the guy said, yeah, that's how much it is. And he took this envelope and he pushed it across the table to this guy. And as soon as he picked up the envelope, the police came out from hiding behind all sorts of things. He got arrested. And I know some more detail. I don't want to say anything more about it. But yeah, in answer to your question, Steve, anything you get paid for, if you're in Thailand and you retire, it means you go there to work, you go there to retire, you go there to sit on a beach and play golf, whatever, that's fine. But if you do any kind of work, you get paid, and they're quite hot on it. It's not like the old days where you could, nobody will find out. And the worst thing about Thailand is you'll get grassed up because there's a lot of jealous people in Thailand. I'm talking about foreigners. And what will happen if they see you're doing well, or they see that you've got something nice in your life that's going on, they'll just grass you up. They'll just report you to the police because they're jealous. And there's a lot of that goes on, especially in a town like Pattaya. So what I'd say, if you go out there, even if you're doing things legit, don't shout your mouth off in a bar. Just don't tell people anything. If somebody starts asking you, just be polite and answer in a roundabout way. But do not give out any of your personal financial or work or personal things to anybody in a bar, because they'll use it against you. They'll stab you in the back. I know that for fact, guys. I've seen it happen so many times. Let's get some of these newer comments. There's no one there. Red Farang, are you home now? Are you still in Thailand? No, I'm home. You know the giveaway, don't you? Because I'm drinking the Kronenberg, because when I was in Thailand, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I was drinking coffee. Okay, we've still got over 600 in the chat. Good to see you guys in here. Paul Hoskin, I gave my girlfriend money to not work in the bar anymore, and she kept her word. She's a freelancer now. Only from Paul Hoskins. Okay. You got a bit of a fan club here, Paul. Look, Dutch Frank, Paul Hoskin, yeah. Who else we got? Robert Jenkins, good heart man. Harold Bishop Peters home. Nice to see you again in here, Harold. Right, Dutch Frank. A monger is a man who enjoys female company. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit more than that, though, isn't it? I won't go into it here. Right. How do I pronounce that? Aldo de Lusa. Simon's stories are 30 minutes, but get dragged over 15 videos. Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. I mean, he's got his own style, hasn't he? He tells the stories from memory, and he's a very, very good storyteller. But I know where you're coming from. I mean, they do kind of suck you in, and then you think, Jesus, I've got to get to the end of this. Will it ever get to the end? And, you know, that's just his style, isn't it? Right, I am Joy. Shame about your wife, Peter, but have fun in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. They're all sweet there. Well, she's not dead, I am Joy. You came on here last week and started saying funny things. So, yeah, I don't know why you say shame about your wife. She's very, very happy. She's just had a Korean family over. She's glad to see me back. And there's no shame about it, Joy. Right, Tom Robinson. Anyone know what happened to... This comes up quite a lot. No, not... anyone knows what happens to... I've lost it. Thailand 1-1... Oh, there we are. Tom Robinson. Anyone know what happened to Bangkok 112? Just disappeared off the planet, didn't he? Right, Chris Gallen. Hi, Peter. I watched your videos on when you got COVID in Thailand. Can you shed any light on what happens if you get COVID whilst on holiday? I did that at the beginning, Chris. I don't want to go over it again because I spent quite a long time at the beginning. I mean, in a nutshell, you're supposed to go to a hospital and be locked in a room for 10 days, but it doesn't seem to be happening now. Go back and watch at the beginning. I talked about 15 minutes into the video because, you know, there's 600 people in here now. Most of them heard it earlier. I don't want to sort of repeat it. Right, Nick Franco, if you believe your bar girlfriend will quit if you pay her allowance, I have a palace in Bangkok I'd like to sell you. Yeah, I mean, they don't quit, guys. I mean, I remember years ago, I've told this story quite a long time ago. I remember years ago, I had a friend who owned a bar on the 3rd floor of Nana. And this is when I lived in Bangkok, and I used to go into his bar because he's my friend, and I went in to see him and I drank with him. I never took any girls out of his bar, and all the girls in that bar knew I was never going to take a girl out of the bar. They all knew I was a friend of the guy. It was his son actually who run it. They all knew I went in there to have a few beers with him. I went in alone and I left alone, and that went on for months. So they all knew I wasn't a punter, and I got friendly with a lot of them. I was talking to them. And there was one girl in particular, she was a very good looking girl, and she had 5 sponsors. So she had, I think there was a guy in Germany, a couple of guys in America, a couple of English guys. And these 5 guys were sending her money, 20,000, 25,000 baht a month. And I said to her, and she was dancing, and I said to her one day, I said, look, you know, you've got these 5 sponsors sending you money. You know, you must be on 100,000. And don't forget, I'm talking 20 years ago. And I said, you're still dancing, you're still going off with customers. Why do it? And she basically, her answer to me was, why not? You know, I've got the opportunity to earn even more money. Why wouldn't I do it? So she turned it on me because I'm like, well, you've got 5 sponsors. You're getting all this money. Why don't you just stay at home and take it easy? And her answer, like I say, was, well, why shouldn't I? Why should I lose money? So then they never stop. It's never enough. It's never enough. And, you know, if you go over there as a white knight and you think, oh, well, this one's different. I found the one that's different. She spins you this story about, oh, you know, I have to look after my parents. I've got no other choice. I don't have education. If somebody rolled into this bar and paid me 20,000 baht a month, I'd love to stop working. And well, it's rubbish. It's not true. Right. Darcy, yeah, I did suspect that. Darcy says, I am Joy is a troll. I didn't want to say, but that person came in last week and said a few derogatory comments, but I like the trolls when they come in because I like to answer them. I mean, a lot of guys, when trolls come in, they just block them. I do block them eventually, but whenever they put a derogatory comment up, I don't. A lot of people ignore them. I don't. I answer it. You know, why ignore them? I mean, who are they? Like the first guy who came in, what was his name? He called himself Ed Sweeney. It wasn't Ed Sweeney. Right, Bill Griffiths. I'm planning my first trip to Pattaya on my own because my mates all dropped out. Is this a good idea? Yeah, Bill, absolutely. Why not? I mean, you know, a lot of you'll probably find out that if you go with a mate, it'll probably drag you down anyway. Because once you get there, it's not like you're going to get to Pattaya and say, "Oh, when am I going to go out? I don't know the city." You'll walk out of your hotel and it's all there. You know, you can't miss it, and you're not going to not have a good time. You know, so yeah, just go for it. Go onto Agoda, book a hotel, try to get around Soy Buakhao, Tree Town, the beach road, anywhere, any of them Soy 7, Soy 8, you know, Soy Post Office, anywhere, good little hotel. If you've never been there before, you're going for a couple of weeks, book for 2 nights, right? Because you'll never not be able to get a hotel room. Book for 2 nights. On your second day there, have a look around a few hotels. When you find a better one you really like, then you can check into that one for 2 weeks. Right, Omar says, have you been to South Korea? Yeah, I met my wife there. It's a long story. My background is hotels, and I went to work in a hotel in South Korea, and she was working in the reception. She was 19 at the time, and it went from there basically. So yeah, and I've been back to South Korea a couple of times, but it's not really for me. I don't want to say anything in case she watches this later. Right, who sent me that super chat? Daniel Smith. Let me find that so I can put that on the screen. Thank you, Daniel, in advance. Right, there we go. And if you've just joined us, guys, let me just tell you about tomorrow's video again. From next week, I'm going to be doing the love stories again. Love stories. It could be any, they shouldn't really be called love stories, should disaster stories. So I've got plenty of stories now. I always welcome more. If you've got a story, send it in. It will get read out eventually.